She was 74 years old, a retired schoolteacher, walked 2 miles every morning, gardened every afternoon, never smoked a day in her life. Her blood pressure was better than mine. And on a Tuesday in late June, her daughter found her sitting in her favorite armchair, confused, unable to remember what year it was. Break_0. By the time the ambulance reached my hospital, her core body temperature was 104.2 degrees. No fever, no infection, no stroke on the scan, just heat. Ordinary summer heat, in a house she'd lived in for 40 years, with the windows closed and a single fan running in the corner. Here's what haunts me. She never felt hot. She told her daughter she felt a little tired. That was it. The thing that nearly killed her was something she'd walked past every single day and never thought twice about. By the end of this video, you'll never look at a hot afternoon the same way again. I'm Dr. William Cooper, a physician who specializes in the medicine of aging bodies. I've sat at thousands of bedsides. And I can tell you that summer, for people over 60, is quietly one of the most dangerous seasons of the year. What I'm about to share isn't the generic drink water, stay cool advice you've heard 100 times. This is what I've learned watching the human body change after 60, the specific physical reasons heat becomes a predator, and the 9 things I wish every older adult and every family member knew before this summer. Most doctors don't have time to explain this. I'm going to take the time. So let me start with the question underneath all of this. Why is heat so much more dangerous after 60? Because your body's cooling system quietly changes as you age, and almost nobody explains how. Think of your body like a house with central air conditioning. When you were 30, that system was brand new. The moment the temperature crept up, the thermostat kicked in instantly, the vents opened wide, and cool air flooded every room. You barely noticed. That's a young body sweating, dilating blood vessels, and dumping heat before it ever builds up. Now picture that same house 40 years later. The air conditioner still works, but it's slower to turn on. The vents are half blocked. The sensor that's supposed to detect the heat is faulty, so the house climbs to 85 degrees before the system even realizes there's a problem. That's your body after 60. And this isn't a flaw in you, it's simply biology. Here's the science in plain language. After 60, your sweat glands produce less sweat, and they respond more slowly. Your skin's blood vessels don't widen as easily, so heat can't escape efficiently. Your heart can't pump the extra volume a young heart could. And critically, the thirst signal in your brain grows quieter. You can be dangerously dehydrated and feel nothing. The villain in this story has a name. It's a decline in thermoregulation, your body's ability to hold a safe internal temperature. Add in something we call reduced physiological reserve, which simply means your body has less spare capacity to handle stress. When a heat wave hits, a young body has margin. An older body is often running with none. I want to be honest with you, not frightening. This is not about fear. It's about respect for how your body has changed, and about giving you back control. Because nearly everything I'm about to describe is preventable. So let's get into the 9 things you must know. Number 1 surprised even me. Number 1, waiting until you feel thirsty to drink water. It sounds so reasonable, doesn't it? Your whole life, thirst told you when to drink. It was a perfect, reliable alarm. Why would you drink when you don't feel like you need to? Here's what nobody tells you. After 60, that alarm is broken. The part of your brain that detects dehydration, centered in the hypothalamus, becomes far less sensitive with age. Researchers call it a blunted thirst response. Your blood can become concentrated, your body genuinely short on fluid, and the alarm bell simply doesn't ring. By the time an older adult feels thirsty, they may already be 1 to 2% dehydrated, and in the heat, that's the beginning of a dangerous slide. And here's how the cascade unfolds. Less fluid means thicker blood. Thicker blood means your heart works harder, and your blood pressure can swing. It means less sweat, so less cooling. It means your kidneys, already less efficient after 60, start to struggle. Dehydration also causes confusion, which is why so many families think their parent is getting forgetful, when they're actually dangerously dry. The research here is sobering. A comprehensive review published in the journal Nutrients in 2023 confirmed that older adults have both a blunted thirst sensation and a reduced ability of the kidneys to concentrate urine and conserve water, a double vulnerability that makes dehydration one of the most common and most overlooked conditions in people over 65. I had a patient, a gentleman named Frank, 78, sharp as a tack, a former engineer. His wife brought him in because he'd become muddled. No stroke, no infection. His only problem? He drank when he was thirsty, and after 60 he was almost never thirsty. He was profoundly dehydrated. 2 days of fluids and Frank was back to correcting my grammar. So here's your fix. Stop relying on thirst. Drink on a schedule instead. A glass of water with every meal, one mid-morning, one mid-afternoon, one in the early evening. Keep a marked bottle on the counter and aim to empty it by dinner. If your urine is dark yellow, you're behind. Pale straw color is the target. This one habit is the single most protective thing you can do this summer. So let me ask you, do you drink water on a schedule, or do you wait until you feel thirsty? Be honest in the comments. I read them. Number 2, your daily medications, the ones keeping you alive, can quietly turn up the danger in the heat. This is the one almost nobody connects, and it's the one I most wish families understood. Here's the mechanism, and it's important. Several common medications interfere with your body's ability to cool itself. Diuretics, water pills for blood pressure, pull fluid out of your body, deepening dehydration in exactly the season you can least afford it. Beta blockers can blunt your heart's ability to speed up and pump blood to the skin for cooling. Anticholinergics and some antihistamines can actually reduce sweating. And certain antidepressants and antipsychotics can interfere with the brain's temperature control directly. Now stack that on top of an aging body that already cools poorly. You've got a person whose natural defenses are reduced by age, and whose medications reduce them further. Not because the medications are bad, but because heat changes the equation. Nobody warned them the summer sun and their morning pills don't mix the way they used to. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has issued clinical guidance specifically warning that commonly prescribed medications, including diuretics, anticholinergics, and certain psychotropic drugs, can impair the body's ability to regulate temperature and retain fluids, raising the risk of heat-related illness. And a 2020 study in the journal Environmental Health documented that older adults on these heat-sensitizing medications had measurably higher rates of heat-related hospitalization. I remember a woman named Eleanor, 82, on a water pill and a beta blocker, a completely standard, sensible combination. During a July heat wave, she collapsed, reaching for her mail. Her family was terrified she'd had a heart attack. She hadn't. Her body simply couldn't shed heat while those two medications did exactly what they were designed to do. So here's your fix, and this one is critical. Do not stop any medication on your own, ever. Instead, call your doctor or pharmacist and ask one simple question. Do any of my medications make me more vulnerable to heat, and should we adjust anything for the summer? That single phone call could be the most important one you make all year. Do you know whether any of your medications affect how your body handles heat? If you're not sure, and most people aren't, that's your homework this week. Tell me in the comments if you're going to make that call. Number 3, trusting the electric fan to keep you safe. For generations, the fan has been the symbol of summer comfort. It feels cooling. It sounds cooling. Surely if the air is moving, you're protected, right? Here's what nobody tells you. Above a certain temperature, a fan stops cooling you and can actually make things worse. A fan cools you by evaporating your sweat, but once the air temperature climbs above your skin temperature, roughly 95 to 100 degrees, the fan is no longer bringing cool air across your body. It's blowing hot air at you, like a convection oven. And if you're an older adult who isn't sweating much to begin with, there's almost nothing left for that fan to evaporate. So the fan gives you a false sense of security. You hear it running, you feel the breeze, and you assume you're safe, while your core temperature quietly climbs. This is exactly what happened to my very first patient in this video, the school teacher. One fan, closed windows, and a body that had stopped warning her. Research supports the caution. Multiple heat health guidelines, including those informed by studies published in journals like Temperature, note that electric fans lose their benefit and may increase heat strain once air temperature exceeds skin temperature, particularly in older adults with reduced sweating capacity. That's why public health agencies stopped recommending fans as a standalone cooling method in extreme heat. A neighbor of mine, a proud, independent man of 80, refused air conditioning for years. "I've got my fan," he'd say. During one bad stretch, his daughter found him lethargic and flushed. The fan had been running the whole time. He was fine, but only because someone checked on him. So here's your fix. Use a fan only when temperatures are below about 95 degrees. Above that, you need real cooling. Air conditioning, a cool shower, a damp cloth on your neck and wrists, or, best of all, getting to a cooling center, a library, a mall, or a family member's home. A fan can be part of the plan, but never the whole plan. Be honest. Do you rely on a fan alone during the hottest days? What's your backup plan when it climbs above 95? Let's talk about it below. Number 4, ignoring the nighttime heat. Everyone braces for the afternoon sun, but the danger you don't see coming arrives after dark, when you assume the worst is over, and you go to bed thinking you've made it through. Here's the mechanism. Your body relies on cooler nights to recover from the heat of the day, to bring your core temperature back down and give your heart and cooling system a rest. But during a true heat wave, the temperature doesn't fall enough overnight. Your body never gets its break. The heat load accumulates hour after hour, and by the second or third night, your reserves are simply gone. And this is where it gets dangerous, especially after 60. You're asleep. You can't feel the confusion setting in. You can't get up to drink. Nobody's checking on you at 3 a.m. The accumulated strain on an older heart over consecutive hot nights is precisely why heat waves that last several days are so much deadlier than a single scorching afternoon. Scientists have documented this clearly. Research published in the Lancet Planetary Health has shown that rising nighttime temperatures carry an independent risk of excess mortality, separate from daytime heat, precisely because the body is denied its overnight recovery. Hot nights, the researchers concluded, are an underappreciated and growing danger. I think of a couple, both in their late 70s, who kept their bedroom window shut and no cooling on because they slept better in the dark and quiet. By the third night of a heat wave, the husband woke disoriented and dizzy. They'd survived every afternoon. It was the nights that nearly caught them. So here's your fix. Cool your bedroom before you sleep, not after you're already hot. Run air conditioning in the evening, or create cross-ventilation when the outside air finally drops below your indoor temperature. Keep a glass of water and a damp cloth at your bedside. And during a multi-day heat wave, the single coolest room in your home should become where you sleep. When it's hot at night, do you have a way to keep your bedroom cool? Or do you just tough it out? I genuinely want to know. Tell me below. Number 5. Assuming you'll notice the warning signs yourself. This is perhaps the most dangerous assumption of all, because it feels so obviously true. Surely, if you were overheating, you'd feel awful. You'd know. Your body would tell you. Here's what nobody tells you. In older adults, the earliest and most dangerous sign of heat illness isn't feeling hot. It's confusion. Subtle confusion. Trouble finding a word. A vague fogginess. Unusual drowsiness. Because the aging brain is exquisitely sensitive to heat and dehydration, the alarm often shows up as a change in thinking, long before it shows up as physical discomfort. And that's the cruel trap. The very organ that would normally recognize the danger, your brain, is the one being impaired by it. You can't reliably diagnose yourself with the tool that's already malfunctioning. This is why heat illness in seniors is so often caught late, and why a family member's outside eyes are worth more than gold. The data underscore the stakes. The World Health Organization reports that heat-related mortality for people over 65 rose by approximately 85% between the early 2000s and the recent period of 2017 to 2021. And research summarized across the field consistently shows that the overwhelming majority of heatwave deaths, the vast majority, occur in older adults. This is not a rare tragedy, it is the pattern. I once admitted a man whose wife apologized to me for overreacting. She'd brought him in only because he called her by his sister's name, something he never did. He was in early heat stroke. Her overreaction saved his life. I told her, never apologize for noticing. So here's your fix. Learn the real early signs: confusion, dizziness, unusual tiredness, headache, nausea, muscle cramps, and skin that's hot but not sweating. If you live alone, arrange a daily check-in call during any heat wave. If you have an older loved one, call them. And don't just ask, "Are you okay?" Ask what day it is. Listen to how they're speaking. Confusion is the red flag. Would you know these signs if you saw them in yourself or someone you love? Save this list. Better yet, share it. Who's the person over 60 you'd call first? Tell me in the comments. Number 6. Dressing for looks instead of for heat. It seems trivial. Surely clothing is a minor detail. But the wrong fabric and the wrong color can trap heat against your skin all day long. And after 60, your body has no margin for that extra load. Here's the mechanism. Dark colors absorb sunlight and radiate that heat inward. Tight, synthetic fabrics trap the little sweat you do produce, blocking the evaporation that cools you. Since your cooling system is already running at reduced capacity after 60, clothing that fights your body instead of helping it can be the difference between comfortable and overwhelmed on a hot afternoon. So here's your fix, and it's beautifully simple. Choose loose-fitting, lightweight, light-colored clothing in natural, breathable fabrics like cotton or linen. Loose lets air circulate against your skin. Light colors reflect the sun. And if you go outside, a wide-brimmed hat protects the head and neck, where so much heat is gained. Small changes, real protection. Take a look in your closet. Is it built for the heat or against it? Tell me what your go-to summer outfit is down below. Number 7. Skipping meals and losing your salt. When it's hot, appetite fades. A light salad, a bit of toast. I'm just not hungry in this weather. It feels healthy, even sensible. But there's a hidden cost that most people never consider. Here's what nobody tells you. When you sweat, you don't just lose water, you lose electrolytes, especially sodium. And when you drink water but eat almost nothing, you can dilute the sodium in your blood to dangerously low levels. We call this hyponatremia, and in older adults it causes confusion, weakness, unsteadiness, and falls. Eating too little in the heat while drinking is a real and underappreciated danger after 60. And here's the cascade. Low sodium plus an aging brain equals confusion, which again, looks exactly like the heat illness we've been discussing. Skipped meals also mean less energy to stay active, less protein to maintain the muscle that supports your circulation, and a body even less equipped to handle the day's heat. It all compounds. So here's your fix. Keep eating, even when your appetite drops. Small, frequent meals are easier than large ones. Include naturally hydrating, mineral-rich foods, cucumbers, melon, tomatoes, oranges, soups, and yogurt. If you're sweating a great deal, a doctor may recommend an oral rehydration drink rather than plain water alone. Food is part of your hydration strategy, not separate from it. Are you eating well during hot spells, or does your appetite vanish? What's your favorite cooling food? Share it. You might give someone else a great idea. Number 8, pushing through your normal routine. You've walked every morning for decades. You mow your own lawn. You refuse to let a little heat slow you down, and there's real pride in that independence. But that same pride, in a heat wave, can be quietly dangerous. Here's the mechanism. Physical exertion generates internal heat, a lot of it. In a young body, that heat is dumped efficiently through sweat and blood flow to the skin. After 60, with a slower cooling system and less reserve, that self-generated heat stacks on top of the environmental heat, and your core temperature can climb frighteningly fast. Exertion in a heat wave is like running the oven while the whole house is already overheating. So here's your fix. Don't cancel your active life, just move it. Shift your walk, your gardening, your errands to the early morning or the cooler evening, and avoid the peak hours between roughly 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. Slow your pace, take frequent breaks in the shade, and carry water. On the worst days, give yourself full permission to rest indoors. Rest is not weakness, it's strategy. Be honest. Do you push through the heat out of habit or pride? What time of day do you get your exercise? Let me know below. Number 9, isolation, believing you can handle it alone. This is the quiet killer beneath all the others. Because every single danger I've described is far, far worse when there's no one there to notice. Here's the truth I've seen over 32 years. The heatwave deaths that reach my hospital overwhelmingly share one factor. The person was alone, unnoticed, for too long. The confusion set in and no one was there to catch it. Human connection, a daily phone call, a knock on the door, is not sentimental. In a heat wave, it is genuinely life-saving medicine. So here's your fix, and it costs nothing. Set up a buddy system. Agree with a friend, a neighbor, or a family member to check in on each other every single day during hot weather. If you have an older parent or neighbor who lives alone, put a reminder in your phone right now to call them each afternoon of a heat wave. 1 call, 2 minutes. It could be everything. Who's checking on you this summer, and who are you checking on? I hope you have an answer. If you don't yet, let's fix that today. Let me step back for a moment, because if you look at all 9 of these, the broken thirst signal, the risky medications, the false comfort of a fan, the deadly nights, the hidden confusion, the wrong clothes, the skipped meals, the overexertion, the isolation, they all trace back to one root cause. The root cause is this. After 60, your body's cooling system has less reserve and quieter alarms. That's it. Every danger flows from those 2 facts. Your body still works. It protects you every single day, but its warning lights have dimmed, and its safety margin has narrowed. Heat doesn't strike an older body all at once. It presses, slowly, cumulatively, over hours and days. But here is the hopeful truth I hold on to at every bedside. The body's capacity to recover is remarkable. When we catch heat illness early and cool a person down, when we restore their fluids, they come back. I've watched it hundreds of times. The damage of a heat wave is largely preventable and reversible if you act in time. Knowledge here is not just power, it's protection. So let me make this simple and memorable. 9 swaps. Drink by the clock, not by thirst. Ask your pharmacist about your medications. Don't trust the fan above 95 degrees. Cool your bedroom before the night, not after. Watch for confusion, the true first sign. Wear loose, light, breathable clothes. Keep eating and hold on to your salt. Move your activity to the cool hours. And never go through a heat wave alone. None of these require money. None require a doctor's appointment. They require only awareness and a small change in habit. Because information without action is just anxiety. So take one of these 9 today, just one, and act on it. Then take another tomorrow. I want to tell you about one more patient before we finish. Her name was Margaret, 81, lived alone, fiercely independent, the school teacher's neighbor, in fact. After I treated that first patient, Margaret's family got scared and set up a simple system: a daily call, a marked water bottle, a cool room, and a promise she'd never mow the lawn at noon again. The next summer was one of the hottest on record, and Margaret sailed through it. Not because she was lucky, because she and the people who loved her made 9 small changes. When she came to see me that fall, she was tanned from her early morning walks, sharp, laughing, telling me about her tomatoes. She grabbed my hand and said, "I didn't just survive the summer, doctor, I enjoyed it." That's what I want for you. Not fear, not a life spent hiding from the sun. I want you to understand your body, to respect how it's changed, and then to go live fully, safely, and with confidence, right through the hottest days of the year. After 60, you don't have fewer options. You have better information, and that changes everything. Now I'd love to hear from you. Of these 9, which one surprised you the most, and which one are you going to act on first? Tell me in the comments. I read them, and I answer as many as I can. And please, do one thing for me. Share this video with someone over 60 you love, a parent, a neighbor, a friend. This is the video that could genuinely protect them this summer. If it was helpful, hit that like button and subscribe, because I release new videos every week made specifically for aging well, with strength and confidence. One last important note. I'm a physician, but I'm not your physician, and this video is for education, not personal medical advice. Never start or stop any medication on your own, and always talk to your own doctor or pharmacist about your specific situation, especially before this summer's heat arrives. Take care of yourself, stay cool, and I'll see you in the next one.